Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So this is the 7th week, the Rains Retreat. So by now, either Samadhi is sinking in, and you're having a really, really good time, or it's not, and you're having a terrible time, waiting for all to end in October, or something in between. In any case, another Saturday, another talk. So, and it's the same talk, probably. The talk is that whatever it is that what we're doing here is worthwhile, something wholesome, and something that is important for ourselves and the world. And even if we think we're not getting anywhere, whatever that getting anywhere is, whatever that where is, or that we're not doing anything important, we are. It takes time for the mind to calm down. It takes time for the mind to let go of its unwholesome habits. But it's worth it, because what we're doing here is purifying our mind. And this purification is a process that has its own conditions. And will come together when the conditions are there, not based on our agenda, not based on our wanting or longing. So our job is just to continue putting in the hours, continue putting your bum on the seat, continuing inclining the mind towards wholesome qualities, continuing letting go of the unwholesome tendencies and qualities that come up in the mind from time to time. Continue to pick yourself up even though you don't feel like going to the morning chanting. You get up when it's 3 o'clock. You keep on moving. When you had a terrible day, terrible retreat, tomorrow is different. It's another day. And the opportunity to continue the path. That's why it's called a training. We all can be perfect. It wouldn't be called training, now would it? So this is the training, the practice. Keep practicing it till you get it right. You don't get this right this lifetime, it's always next lifetime. We keep doing that till we get it right, and it's good. Time is just a perception. Someone just take one day at a time. Whether it'll take you 3 years, 50 years, 50 lifetimes, it doesn't matter, because you're only taking one day at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time. And in terms of the practice, I was trying to keep it practical. I was being pragmatic in nature, looking around. And in this modern era, this age, we know so much teaching. It's everywhere. It's on your phone, it's on the internet. When you read so many more books than you need to. But the main thing is always, like Ajahn Chah also reminds us to do, is to put the teaching into practice, to put the teaching into our everyday life whenever we can. It's not something to be read and to feel good, and then you go back and you argue with your neighbor, get into a fight in the kitchen. or whatever it is that we get up to. It's about living a lifestyle. It's about centering the mind in a certain way. So it's always bringing back to the present moment. Am I living the Dhamma? Am I living according to the Buddha's teaching? Or am I getting lost in my own wants, my own likes and dislikes? Am I lost in my fantasy? Am I lost in irritations and fault finding? So with the practice, it's always, if you have, like I say, if you have samadhi, it's great. Samadhi is wonderful because it gives you power. Things are wonderful, everything's bright and shiny, lots of energy. You see things clearly. So you don't have to force yourself to let go. Let it go happens naturally. Wisdom arises naturally when there's a strong, when the mind is clear and bright. But barring that, you can still practice without samadhi. It's using wisdom, the wisdom faculty, using reflection. The mind is not still, always reflect. And the Buddha's this great teaching that I find very, very practical. You can do it all the time. The 3 reflection. Before you're about to do something, is that going to be wholesome? Is that going to bring, are you walking in the Dhamma? Is it something beneficial for yourself and others? Before you do anything, before you say something, reflect on that. While you're doing it, ask yourself, is this in line with Dhamma? Is this what the Buddha would want you to do? Is this going to bring you wholesome results while you're doing it? And after you do it, even if you messed up, after you did it, oh, I wasn't very clever, still reflect on that. Whatever you did, whether it's just a minute ago, whether it's yesterday, was that wholesome? Was that going to bring a wholesome result? Did you act in line with Dhamma, or you act in line with the kilesa, with the defilement? It's not to feel guilty, it's not to judge yourself, but it's to learn from your mistakes. Until we have this ability to reflect upon our action and its results, then we'll continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. So this beautiful, simple, powerful tool of self-reflection. Before we do anything, while we're doing it, after we did it. Was that in line, in accordance with Dhamma, in line with the teaching of the Buddha or Ajahn, the great meditation masters? Or is it out of habit, out of irritation, out of wanting that we're doing it? As long as we keep going back over and over, using this powerful tool of reflection on our actions, then we'll get better and better at it. Then you're about to do something like, oh, I remember this is not going to be good. Last time I got angry, I yelled at somebody. Oh, it's not going to be good. It might feel good for a minute or two, but then, oh, I've got to look at them again every day. And these uncomfortable feelings with them. Okay, maybe I don't do that this time. I do something else. The last time, I had this big piece of cake. Oh, it tasted kind of nice. Oh, but it gave me a stomachache afterward. Oh, maybe I don't do this again. Maybe I don't such just a large piece of cake. So it doesn't have to be huge, important life decision. It can be little things in your daily life that you do, that you apply the Dhamma to. The more we do that, the more you'll see that the habits, you find you're not inclining towards wholesome states. Because that's what you're focusing on. The mind will incline naturally to incline away from unwholesome states. So much of the Dhamma, so much of the practice, to remind people, is not about willpower, but about wisdom power. Putting conditions in place where you start to incline towards the Dhamma naturally over time. Where you find that you incline towards simplicity, towards silence. You look forward to the meditation session instead of running away from it, finding things to do until you come up. Just 3:30, just quick enough to bow to the Buddha. Put your time in and leave. And it's fine. If things aren't working, of course you're going to do something else instead of sitting. But like I said, even if you are not enjoying the whole time with the sessions, it is still working, really. It's still working, even if you had a terrible session, your body's aching, your mind's crazy. Well, there. That's what it feels like to have a crazy mind. Not the end of the world, you won't die from it. You survived. An achy knee's not going to kill you. You survived. So you have this faith, this confidence that you're bigger than the defilements. That you're more than that. You're so much more than the defilements that arise in the mind and pass away. That you have the Dhamma on your side. You have the Buddha on your side. As long as you keep inclining towards the Buddha, as long as you keep inclining towards forgiveness, letting go, acceptance, it doesn't have to be very high Dhamma. Just make it work. Bring it into your life to bring some joy into your life, bring some happiness. It is a beautiful path. It's an amazing path. It brings so much happiness into your mind, to your life, into other people's lives. To see the smiles people come to the monastery, so happy to be in the monastery, so happy to come and practice with the community. So it's an amazing place, amazing opportunity that we have here. Yes, weekend a bit busy, a bit chaotic, but that's the weekend. I don't expect it not to be chaotic. I don't expect to be quiet like the Mondays or the Tuesday. It's the weekend. So yes, I'm bouncing around from one meeting to the next and organizing this and talking to that other person. But I accept it. It's a bit tiring at times, but that's okay. So as we move through life and external conditions change from stillness to busyness to chaos, as long as we are centered, as long as we keep the Dhamma within us, then we're growing in the practice. We strengthen, the mind becomes more strengthened over and over again. And less blown away, blown around by the worldly winds of praise and blame, of gains and loss, of happiness and suffering. You see these emotions, you see these moods come, stay for a while, and they go away. And your mind is still there, aware, awake, still. Oh yeah, I was going to bring up, is that time for this, the Bojjhangals. the 7 factors of enlightenment. I think I'm forgetting the Pali bit. First is sati. Second is dhamma something. Dhamma vichaya. That's what it was. Dhamma vichaya. Dhamma reflection. Third is virya. Think. Fourth is piti. Virya is energy. Piti is rapture. Fifth is pasadi. Is calmness. Usually referred to the body. Sixth is samadhi. Seventh is upekkha. And these are, I like to talk to them bring them from time to time, because I find they're very useful dhammas to practice. And the first and foremost, always, you hear this word all the time, sati, which I like to translate as being awake and aware and caring, right? Caring for things, for the present moment, for what's happening. So when you care, you're present, you're aware. So when you have sati, so sati is the center, being aware of what's happening in your body and mind situation. And then there's the 3 dhammas of energetic dhammas and calming dhammas. So sati, you focus on what's happening in the body and mind. Whether you're feeling restless, you need to focus on the calming dhammas, or you're feeling a bit down, you want to energize yourself with the energetic dhammas. And so the calming dhammas are, you have pasadi, samadhi, and upekkha. So those are calming down. That's interesting. Those are the last 3. The first 3 you have the dhamma vichaya, which is reflect on the dhamma. And then when you reflect on the dhamma, some of it is causal, a lot of it is causal as well. So we go sati, obviously, you heard about sati is mindfulness, is commonly referred to. Or it could be like being aware, being careful, caring, being awake, alert. So that's sati. And then, let's say you're feeling a bit sleepy. It's 3:40 in the morning. Someone said, 3:40 in the morning, Ajahn, that's when I go to sleep. You guys make me wake up. And then then you expect me to watch my breath in a dark room. Doesn't make any sense. So of course I'm sleepy at 3:40 in the morning, yes. So if you're sleepy at 3:40 in the morning, so you're sitting there wondering what you should do. Instead of whinging, complaining about the schedule, about the monks in the monasteries, you reflect, oh yeah, the bojjhangos. Ajahn talk about the bojjhangos. So the bojjhangos are dhamma vichaya. You try to reflect on the dhamma that you know. It could be in the chanting book. It could be all those hundreds and thousands of books that you read. Any dhammas that inspire, uplifts you. Reflect on those teaching of the Buddha. So I reflect on the teaching of the Buddha, teaching of Ajahn Chah, Ajahn Tan, any great meditation masters that you've come across, you read, heard about. Reflect on the Dhamma, uplifts the mind, brings energy. So that's why after Dhamma Vichaya, you have virya, energy arises naturally. And with energy, virya in the mind, piti, sukha, this rapture arises. And that's why you see it is a helpful tool, but something that some people over-relied on is listening to Dhamma. It gives a lot of happiness. As a young man, used to have it listened to like a talk a day. Walking meditation, walk backward and forward, listen to Dhamma. That's, uplifts the mind, brightens the mind. You feel so blessed to be able to come into contact with the teaching of the Buddha, the true teaching of Ajahn Chah. So uplifts the mind. So you're feeling sleepy, those are the 3 factors of enlightenment to focus on. Is the Dhamma Vichaya, virya, and piti. And then if you're sitting there and you got too much coffee, mind is restless, you focus on the calming factors, which is the calming of the body, pasadi. And relax the body. The body's relaxed. The mind also relaxes with it. So with passaddhi comes samadhi. And with samadhi, you're naturally equanimous. You're not forcing yourself to let go. You're not forcing yourself to accept things. A mind that is imbued with samadhi and energy, there's a natural sense of deep happiness that comes. Everything's brighter. Everything is just easier. Someone was telling me, the path to Nibbana, with samadhi, it's like you're traveling first class. Everything is just the way you want. It's beautiful. And with no samadhi, it's like the economy, kind of squished in together. All these noisy people. It's not the most comfortable, but it's passable. But the important thing is you both are on the plane to Nibbana. So whether you have samadhi or whether you have to use reflection to bring up wholesome Dhamma, eventually you both arrive there at the same time. Samadhi just makes it an easier journey, more enjoyable. And I always first explain the Bojjhanga are it's called the factors of enlightenment. These are Dhammas that you bring up that helps your practice, empowered it. These are the factors that lead to enlightenment. So it's good just to reflect on. I think the Buddha has a whole chapter on them. You can read in the Samyutta Nikaya, the books of the groups, of different ways to bring up these Bojjhangas. It's something that I've always, applied in my practice. Something that allows you just to take every sitting as it comes up, to be awake, aware, to be present. How am I feeling? And what factors of enlightenment should I focus on? Someday it is just remembering the chanting, remembering the teachings that you've read about. Other days the mind is calm, it's cool, bright, malleable, then you stay with the breath. So it's not always about, like I said, so much of the practice is about knowing where you're at, what's happening in the here and now, the body and the mind, and adapting your practice, allowing the mind to be more peaceful, allowing the Dhammas to be more wholesome. We should be inclined towards wholesome Dhamma and away from unwholesome Dhamma. You don't need Abhidhamma to understand the 85 states of the mind or whatever it is that they teach. It's interesting if you have that type of mind, but it's so not necessary. Just the 3 reflection Buddha gave his son, I think, Rahula. Before you do anything, am I going towards the Dhamma? Am I acting in line with the Dhamma? Is this going to bring wholesome results or not? While you're doing it, is this what I'm doing bringing wholesome results or unwholesome results? And after you've done it, what I just did, what I just said, is that going to bring good results, wholesome results? Or is it going to do the opposite? Those are the 3 reflections. Simple, practical, and powerful. So I offer that for your reflections tonight, plus the Bojjhangas.
Sadhu, sadhu.